It's a notoriously hard accent. It's got this terrible reputation. How hard was it to pull off?
It was pretty hard because Australian accent is very much like the Irish accent, not in how they sound, but in the fact that they're both incredibly easy to caricature and do badly, but very, very difficult to get the actual nuances of. And you know, I worked for 6 months with a fantastic dialect coach called Kate Godfrey, who was just brilliant with me, and you know, she's fabulous. And so, you know, she got me there. I owe it to her, really.
Casting Daniel Radcliffe brought director Rod Hardy, a kid who could act, one who could pull off one of the hardest accents in history, and of course a legion of worldwide fans. But was he at all seeing the potential dark side of Harry hysteria clouding this project?
Not for a moment was I concerned about, was the Harry Potter thing going to get in the way of this film? You know, that if you really locked yourself into that, you wouldn't cast Tom Cruise unless you were doing Mission Impossible or something. So it gave me a chance to work with another actor that I hadn't worked with and to really just concentrate on our film. And
also, you know, I think the assumption is that my first priority is always to Potter, and it's not. My first priority is to Potter when I'm on it. But when I'm on December Boys, my first, you know, the thing I'm thinking about first and foremost is always going to be December Boys.
And as a December boy, Daniel was the only cast member who didn't grow up here. Therefore, what about having to work that little bit harder than the others to embody our landscape and the Aussie atmosphere?
But I think the rest of the boys had that as well, because I think there is a big difference between where they've grown up, which is, you know, I think Lee's from Melbourne, the other two boys are from Sydney, and growing up in a Catholic orphanage. I mean, that's, you know, in the outback. That you know, that's a big difference for anybody. So I think we were all working hard to get that same mindset of just what must have been unbelievable boredom.
Suppose you're the one. You showed us all up. Yeah, for an old bloke who came through.
I don't want to be adopted.
You don't?
No. I like things the way they are.
Seeking shelter from the storm. Could have been fatal.
My money's on you, Misty.
This is ultimately a story of brotherly love and mateship, but in a country where that's becoming more recollection than real life, director Rod wanted to explore how closeness between friends and family can and should be expressed.
This whole film is about connection of family and friends. And not to be too sweet about it, but it is an important thing. You know, people don't even know who their next door neighbour is today. And back in this time, this is a nostalgic tale as well. Look, a man looking back on his life at a time that I think we would all love to have again, when you could leave your house unlocked, your kids could roam the beaches or the streets freely, and have fun. Well, my sorrow's gonna try.
How you going? Goodbye.
In the last Potter film, the Harry Hoopla was all about his first kiss. Well, in December Boys, Daniel faces something far tougher, his first love scene, aided by the stunning Teresa Palmer. And at age 18, Daniel himself says yes, he has been in love and experienced heartbreak, but won't let his supernatural superstardom get in the way of finding his own love story.
If you get to a certain point and you're so paranoid about paparazzi and kiss and tell stories that you don't trust people enough to try and make a connection, and you sort of guard yourself from it, then yeah, it will be very hard to meet people and trust people. But I think at this stage I'm still probably idealistic enough and possibly naive enough to keep putting myself out there and, you know, really trying to talk to people and, you know, open up to people and stuff like that.
So Daniel's most famous character has now deposed James Bond to become the biggest money-spinning movie character of all time. And Daniel's reportedly just inherited $40 million for his efforts. But as he continues to cast his spell on the world, how does he keep that magical madness at bay?
How do you keep your feet on the ground?
I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those things. I think some people are inclined to go one way and some are not. I mean, I've got great parents, fantastic parents, and I've got great friends, and that's all you need. If you've got a, you know, close group of people around you, you're going to be honest with you, and you'll be all right.
So Rod, no diva stories here?
Many, but none to report at this very second. No, not at all. Never any of those experiences with Daniel. It was always a professional sort of get the job done. He would tell those boys on a regular basis about exactly that, and I think they had the greatest chance to have, you know, the Obi-Wan Kenobi, as I call it, you know, the may the Force be with you conversations that they would very intently watch. But no, he was a great joy to work with.
Well, to that role that propelled him into Planet Potter-style stardom, now that Harry's fate is out of the broom closet, what does the young wizard himself think of his own destiny?
We're coming towards the end, the book's out, all that hype. What are your thoughts on how it all plays out?
I'm really pleased. I can't wait to do it. I don't know how we're going to do it, but that's why people much more clever than me adapt the screenplays. You know, I mean, I'm very excited, yeah.
Were you surprised with the ending?
I wasn't wholly surprised because I had a clue from Miss Rowling, so I sort of had a vague inkling of what might happen. I was very smug for 4 months.
You were telling everybody, I've got no idea
Yeah,
what happened.
No, that's acting.
And acting is what you can catch Daniel Radcliffe doing out of the wizard shoes and into a heartwarming Aussie tale. December Boys hits the Aussie box office from September 20th.